Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Global News reports that the Saskatchewan government, led by Premier Scott Moe, is initiating a public consultation by mailing postcards to every home in the province. The postcards seek feedback on potential social media age limits, or a full ban for youth, aiming to shape the province's stance for discussions with the federal government. This comes after a Liberal Party resolution proposed a 16 and under age restriction, and the federal government is very seriously considering a social media ban. Mental Health and Addictions Minister Lori Carr highlighted concerns about social media's impact on youth mental health, body image, and cyberbullying. While acknowledging young people use social media for connection and self-expression, Moe stressed the importance of public input to decide on limits or parental flexibility. The survey responses, due by June 30, 2026, will help determine Saskatchewan's position on the issue, with the hope for a unified national approach rather than a patchwork of provincial regulations. This contrasts with Manitoba's recent announcement of plans for a provincial ban for those 16 and under, with potential hefty fines for non-compliant companies. Recent polling by Angus Reid showed 75% of Canadians supported a ban similar to Australia's, which prevents youth under 16 from setting up accounts on major platforms. Louise Arbour, a former Supreme Court justice, is poised to take on the role of Canada's next Governor-General, as announced by Prime Minister Mark Carney on Tuesday. At 79, Arbour will succeed Mary Simon, who has served in the role since July 2021. Hailing from Montreal, Arbour earned her law degree from the University of Montreal and built a distinguished legal career, including serving as a judge on the Supreme Court of Ontario and later its Court of Appeal. Her international profile grew significantly in the 1990s when she served as the chief prosecutor for war crimes and genocide in the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda, appointed by then UN Secretary-General Boutros Boutros-Ghali. In 1999, she became the third woman appointed to the Supreme Court of Canada. Arbour later resigned from this position in 2004 to become the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, where she was a vocal advocate against human rights violations worldwide. Upon her return to Canada in 2008, she remained active, notably leading a 2021 independent review into the Canadian Armed Forces' handling of sexual assault and misconduct complaints, recommending civilian investigators. Arbour will officially become the Commander-in-Chief of the Canadian Armed Forces when she is sworn in as Governor-General in early June. This report is from the Canadian Press. Home sales in the Greater Toronto Area, GTA, saw a year-over-year increase of 7% in April, with the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board reporting 5,946 homes sold. This marks the second consecutive month of sales growth. The average selling price, however, declined by 4.9% compared to April 2025, settling at $1,051,969. The composite benchmark price also decreased by 6.6% year-over-year. According to Jason Mercer, Tanadarby's Chief Information Officer, lower home prices and borrowing costs over the past year have acted as a catalyst for home buyers this spring. He noted that while a substantial amount of pent-up demand exists, more certainty in the trade front and easing geopolitical tensions would further improve market activity. Jessica Hamill of Real Broker Ontario highlighted that well-priced properties are still attracting competition, but buyers have more leverage with homes that are not as favorably positioned. She also suggested that continued low inventory and increased activity could put upward pressure on prices. New listings in April decreased by 9.3% year-over-year, with 17,097 properties added to the market. Total active listings also fell by 6.4% to 25,110. The sales increase was led by detached homes and condos, both seeing gains of over 9% year-over-year. This rise in condo sales may indicate a potential turnaround for that segment, which has seen declining property values due to an imbalance between supply and demand. City News Everywhere reports that Toronto Public Health, TPH, has issued a drug alert following a sharp increase in suspected opioid overdose-related deaths in the city. Between April 28 and May 1, 2026, paramedics responded to 5 such deaths, which is more than double the average of 2 deaths recorded over similar 4-day periods in the preceding 12 weeks. These incidents occurred outside of downtown, with 3 concentrated in a North York area. 2 deaths happened in private homes and 3 outdoors, none in a shelter setting. TPH attributes this rise to several factors, including the circulation of a new highly potent light green rock-formed drug associated with heavier sedation. Toronto's drug checking service also reported increased contamination in the unregulated opioid supply. Their recent findings show a new synthetic nitazene opioid, clodesnitazene, was detected on April 28, whose strength and effects are unknown, though naloxone should still be effective. Furthermore, 90% of expected fentanyl samples contained other central nervous system or respiratory depressants, such as the animal tranquilizer medeptomidine, found in 88%, and benzodiazepine-related drugs, 62%. Over half the samples contained a combination of all 3. TPH warns that naloxone is ineffective against benzodiazepines and tranquilizers, urging drug users to avoid using alone, utilize supervised consumption sites, carry naloxone kits, and call 911 immediately in case of overdose, providing rescue breathing and CPR if necessary. The recent collapse of U.S. budget airline Spirit Airlines is sending a clear warning to smaller Canadian carriers struggling with elevated fuel prices and diminished demand for travel to the United States. According to former Air Canada finance executive Christopher Reid, the situation highlights the precarious financial margins for ultra-low-cost airlines. These carriers, he explains, have fewer buffers, such as higher-margin business travelers and diverse route options to absorb economic shocks. Both Edmonton-based Flair Airlines and Toronto-based Porter Airlines have previously faced challenges after expanding their operations into the U.S. market, only to see demand decline. While Spirit Airlines did not directly serve Canadian destinations, its demise could affect some Ontarians who relied on its cheaper flights to sun destinations, often accessed via U.S. hubs. This news from City News Everywhere underscores the ongoing economic pressures on the airline industry. The Canadian press contributed to this report. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.